Doesn't make sense, but it makes sense. All right, everybody, let's get it popping. Hey, first one in. Doesn't make sense, doesn't make sense. Doesn't make sense, doesn't make sense. We're gonna wait till we get a few more in. Just in case you want to know, we are listening to from the Creed soundtrack, one of my favorite songs. It is called I Will Go to War. I will go to war. Yes. Exactly. Let me find my blower. First one in. Cash App winner. I will go to war. Gonna wait till we get I know this has been a lazy day for a lot of folk because it's raining all over. So yeah, I am definitely waiting for a couple more folks to join us. But thank you so much. Always appreciate you. Ready to throw these glows up. Okay, this is Desiree Rogers, Kicking and Pushing. Love this song. Love this song. We're going to get into it, though. We're definitely going to get into it. This does not feel like a Wednesday to me for some reason. All right, I think we're gonna go ahead and get started. We have 4 in. I just want to make sure we're gonna get, 1 or 2 more. Because I definitely want the discussion to be lively. Oh, someone is emailing me, so I am just checking really quick. Wow. Oh no. Oh, no, I'm live now. I didn't go live this morning. Let me answer this. That's something funny. So that's not the first time I've seen that happen where people are getting the notices for, I guess the different time zones send out a different notice. Let me just correct this because I have a couple people that are on West Coast and they're thinking that it's their time, 12 or 5, and that's not the case. So let me just correct this. The glow goes live at 5 every Wednesday. We are live at 5. So welcome to today's Glow show. And this was a topic that I definitely wanted to cover only because there's a lot going on with what's happening to, like, there's a every couple of years, right? There is nothing new under the sun. It's all been done. And right now what's going on is there seems to be like another awakening to, like, oh shoot, Black people are still disproportionately, dying and suffering at the hands of racism being this systemic, issue. And it's like, yeah, that definitely is still going on. It definitely is not something that, died out, no pun intended, when Barack Obama took presidency, right? But for some reason, every couple of years when something happens, like the last time big for, I remember with the Philando Castile situation, like that was huge because here this man was with his fiance / wife right there in the car filming, right there begging for her, spouse's life and their child. I mean, to just have to witness all of this, can you imagine at 5-6 years old, right? That was huge. That was a couple years ago. Then when Eric Garner got off, that was huge. But to me personally, like nothing hit as hard as the Trayvon Martin situation because first of all, I had just moved to Atlanta when it happened, right? I had just moved to Atlanta and I just moved to Atlanta and the narrative was really already being shifted. And when I say it was being shifted, I just mean I was working with youth. I was working with, youth between the ages of, 6 and up. I was the assistant program manager for a community cultural arts program. And they were already, questioning, well, what was going on with him? And they were like, well, why was he wearing a hoodie? It's hot in Florida. And I was just like, no, you don't understand, like, the culture. Like, everybody wears hoodies. And let me tell you, I used to be, of course, like I said, I was a trainer, and I had made up, literally before I moved to Atlanta, I had made up a song called Hoodied Up, because I was just like, every day I'm hoodied up and every night I'm boogied up. And I was telling them the song because I was just like, that's just really the nature of everything. No matter if you go into these stores, you're hoodied up. If you go into hospitals, because every place, even though Florida is hot, when you go into these places, they're freezing cold. So you just get into the habit of wearing these hoodies and just not taking them off. So I was like, wow, but it's amazing how, there has been a shift tremendously in what has happened with, before you could hear something and you could be like, oh yeah, just the fact that someone lost their life, that was criminal enough. But now it's just like everyone comes with their own narrative, and it's become this victim shaming. Like, that is something that was created literally for us, right? And so how am I talking about all of this on a video with this type of title? And the reason being is because of the fact that, because of what's happening with the reawakening, right? Well, because of what's happening with this reshifting, with this paradigm awareness, because that's what it is. This is not new. I am 41 years of age, but I can remember ever since the Rodney King situation happened. This has been a consistent and constant issue, right? So with that being said, where we are now is just that, how do you maintain keeping yourself together, keeping yourself aware, keeping yourself centered when all of this brutality and all of these issues are going on around you? And it can be overwhelming, and it can be a lot. And let me tell you, Black women in general are losing their lives and their glow behind these issues, because I won't say 9 times out of 10, but I will say about a good 60-70% of the time, women end up, taking up the slack and picking up the pieces in these crusades, because, our men may be indisposed, either honestly in jail, dead, or, just detached from the situation because they're working and they're grinding, and they're trying to stay focused on stacking their money and, their business opportunities. So a lot of times, because I think women, because we are nurturers, because we are life givers, because we are legacy bearers, we tend to take on the gamut of this. We tend to take on the slack of this. So, what are some ways that we can stay centered? We can stay aware, because I think people get the wrong idea when they say, oh, I'm so unbothered. And I don't think that's the goal. It's not the goal not to be unbothered. It's not the goal not to be aware of what's going on or informed. But at the same time, it should be a goal to be able to compartmentalize, be able to handle and address these things accordingly, right? So, of course, the recent tragedy, which what happened with the gentleman George, yesterday, incredibly heinous and incredibly unsettling and disturbing. If you all don't know, and I'm sure most of you do, but definitely check your news, check your feeds. But a gentleman was basically accosted for, or supposed to be being addressed for, what was, I don't even know what the charge was, honestly. I just saw a recent video of just them taking him out of the car. I've heard no statements in regards to what he was charged with or supposed to be charged with, but he was drug out the car, and an officer kneeled literally on this man's neck until he died. And I've only slept maybe about 2 hours the past 24 hours because, I've just been, and I know it is very ironic, especially with doing a show like this, right? But it does, I don't want to get to a place where stuff like this doesn't bother me. I don't want to get to that space. I have a father, I have a brother, I have a son, and I don't want to get to a space where that doesn't bother me. But at the same time, I don't want always for me to be the person that says, okay, this is the solution. This is the solution, which is interesting because I saw a sermon by Mike Todd. You all know he's the lead pastor for Transformation Church in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and he was speaking about using like your influence and understanding and appreciating like when you're joining organizations, because I think something that does happen, and I appreciate also that Darius Daniels has actually been covering this a bit too, but something that does happen to a lot of women, I think, that go into these organizations and this sort of thing, is that our ideas get overlooked. Our ideas get swept under the rug until, the other things or the other suggestions that get brought forward, they're not being done. So guess who they circle back around to? The women. But, sometimes that takes years sometimes. And, as I was stating to an organization that, I'm looking forward to working with in the near future, and I'll do some more updates and announcements about that moving forward. But, I was telling them that, you just kind of get tired of the dance. You get tired of, having to make that dance or having to do the dance. And, and I'm not trying to say, you can't be humble, but yeah, it does. Who is this? Hey, how are you? Somebody says, I'm beautiful. You're beautiful. Put it lower. Welcome, welcome. And so, we have to get to a point where we are, able to be aware, but not be so emotionally invested that we lose our quality of life behind it, that we lose our glow. And that is exactly what I see happening on a very consistent basis. Women, we are facing a burnout like I have never, ever seen from another group of women. Black women in particular, we are suffering like this real burnout. So let me just say hello. I definitely think that it's okay to date out. Absolutely. I'm not opposed to it. I think you have to go where your energy flows, where you have to go where who is loving you, who's loving you. And if that happens to be, a person from another race, I'm not opposed to that at all. I remember growing up because I've always been kind of quirky, very funny, should ask. I've always been very quirky. And growing up, just a lot of people always told me, I was like a white girl trapped in a black girl's body. And there was a guy, we went out as much as going out you can do. A lot of times you develop these summer relationships, No. What? Well, was it a positive comment? I would love to know. Oh, so he didn't, he was offended by that. He was put off by that. He didn't realize that your makeup matched your skin tone. I've only had one real honest dating experience, and well, I felt it was a date in my adult life. There was a gentleman who was, that is very interesting. Oh, but he used those words, your dark makeup. It's just your makeup. I don't know if I like that. I don't know if I like that. Did you see him again? And I like that he was a surgeon, though. That's what we got to do. We got to level up with these with these um executive and professional. I was in a chat room this morning and they were talking about it's okay to kind of, date a working poor, man. And I say no, because they do not appreciate it. They just don't. I say no to that. I say no to that, as you should. And thank you. I'm glad you did take offense to it. Because that's what gets me. The fact that he said dark, like your dark makeup, like that makes it, that to me sounds, honestly, I don't know him. I don't know, so I'm not, making any judgments on his character, but it sounds to me like he was calling it dirty. Is that correct? Is that what that felt like to you, that he was calling it dirty? Well, I'm glad he apologized, but that's what it felt. That's what that would feel to me. It feels like, he was kind of calling you dirty a little bit. I don't like that. Mm. Let me tell you, I am a lady that appreciates many genres of music, and I remember a song by the Plies. Why has Plies not done a versus yet? Plies had some hits. I think that Plies could go against somebody. When I think about who, I'll mention it later. But in Shawty, he said, haven't called her in a few days, got to let her mind wander. Sometimes you do have to be unavailable, because sometimes you just do not have the time. Sometimes you just don't have the time to be, primping and sitting up and da 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 da. And then, you know, I remember my marriage counselor used to tell me that expectations were preconceived disappointments. Let me say that again for all of y'all in the back. Expectations are preconceived disappointments. So, um, all of this is red flagging to me. And except for the fact that he's a surgeon. So let's revisit. Let me ask you this. Is his son is it by a Latin woman, a Latina? Because let me tell you, the one situation I've had in my adult life, and when I tell you I manifested this situation, I manifested this situation. This is going to sound so crazy, but you guys follow me. So literally that day, an Asian woman. Okay, well, this guy's a free floater, honey. Was he married to the Asian woman? Was he married to her? Let me know. I know I make crazy faces when I'm on my jar, y'all. Y'all have to excuse me. He's a rainbow. He's surfing the rainbow. My cats are causing all types of chaos. I like this story, honey. They didn't marry. Now that's unusual, because Asian usually don't play that. Oh, those Asian households are very traditional. We have got to talk off the screen. Let me give you my email address. We got to talk behind the boards, because I got to get more of this story, honey. I got to get more of this story. So let me ask you this. What is because I don't date. So you have to appreciate that I may be diving in a little bit, Is your dating pool, is it well-rounded like that? And are you finding that, do you rainbow, or do you strictly stick away from Black men? And if so, are the caliber of men in the other ethnicities, are they holding true? That he met her after 6 months? They were online dating? and he got her pregnant after 6 months, or he met her totally after 6 months. I'm going to give you my email address here, because I like how we're vibing. I like how we're vibing, honey. You're into it. They had a child after 6 months. Something's off with her. Honey, I've never seen that from an Asian household. I want to tell you, honey, and I've lived all over the United States, honey. I've lived all over the United States, from north, south, west. I have never seen that from an Asian. They are very, very, very conservative about that. They're very conservative. Something is off there. You met the boy? Is he all there? Is he all there together? Because something is off with her. It sounds to me like she may have been, the mom may have been, ostracized from that community. Men do the pursuing, but those Asian women, honey, I've lived a lot of places. And those Asian women, they have that stuff down packed. Okay. All right. Well, at least he's not doing that, because let me tell you, when I was in Philly, I had met this guy, and after 2 dates, honey, he was talking about he wanted me to come to the birthday party. He wanted me to come to the boy's birthday party and meet the boy's mom. I was like, you're not gonna be getting me beat up in here. What, brother? You ain't gonna be getting me. He was a banker. Y'all, when I tell you he was a beautiful, beautiful tall guy. And yeah, we went on a couple of dates, and I eventually told him I was dating someone else, and he got super, super mad. He was like super mad that I was dating somebody else. But he might be mad, but I don't think that's your concern. What people think about you has nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with them. I think that the comment was rude. I think even though he apologized, to me, him saying that your makeup got on him, your dark makeup, because that, when I tell you I am words are very powerful. I'm a wordsmith. Oh, this is too much. Honey, you should tell him. Honey, no, you shot yourself in the foot when you made such a rude comment. Because that, to me, if it had not had the dark in there, I would be like, you know what, you're overreacting a bit. I honestly, I got to be honest, I would have said that. I would have definitely thought you're overreacting a bit. Girl, let's pull it back in. He's a surgeon, rein it back. I was married to a professional. He was a lawyer. Let me tell you, intellectuals can say some real emotionless, compassionate, lacking things. They just can, because they deal with this. Everything is so technical. Let me tell you, when I met my ex-husband, he didn't like reading. He was a full going to law school. He wasn't in law school at the time we met, but knew very early on in our relationship he was going to go to law school, and was able. I read just to prepare for a test. That's it. I don't read for leisure. He always used to think that was so weird, because I was always with my face in a book. I remember one time a big math exam was coming up, and he was really good at math. And I was like, well, can you just do it? Because, I really don't have time to study for the test, because I'm almost done with this book. And he was like, what? What are you reading a book for? Do the math. Get ready for your math test. And I was like, no. Can you just do it? He did. He got me a C, y'all. He got me a C. He said he couldn't give me an A, because then they would know it wasn't me. That's what he told me. I think because he said, hey, Sam, this isn't our fasting day. I'm sorry. Hello. You're going to have to come back on Friday, but we are talking about how to maintain your glow regardless. But Sam, you might want to read in on this situation. I don't know if you can scroll up a bit and see what's going on, but we have a bit of a situation here. And so they might, I think that she needs a different opinion. But welcome to the chat. Okay, let me ask you this, and I hope, again, I don't date, so all of this is just kind of fresh and exciting for me to be hearing. But yeah, it is interesting, right? So tell me this, so sis, how old are you? Because for him to say that you're shooting yourself in the foot, I'm going to go over a story that happened with me over the weekend, and I'll definitely get you guys' opinion. And I had to decide not to be unbothered by the situation, but it definitely it hurt. It hurt my feelings a little bit, but let's see what this is. I don't know what that is. It hurt my feelings a little bit, but life goes on, right? You're still, because I bet, even though you're 30, I bet you don't look 30. Because I know when I was 30, people thought, I was still in my 20s. I'm 41 now, and people think I'm 30. So, they think I'm in my 30s. They think I'm like 34, 35. So, no, boy, bye. And you don't have any children? No, honey, you're still very prime real estate, honey. I was just in a chat room yesterday, and these guys were talking. It was 6 of them. I know. 30-year-old, honey, please. 30 is the new 20. It is. It honestly is. When I was 30, I still looked like I was still getting carded. I was still getting carded for stuff when I was 30. And also too, I used to, how you dress also tells your age. And so, I was dressing like a teenager. I was just like a teenager for a long time, y'all. I think until after I had my son and I could really fit into, because I went on a major trim down after I had my son, and I could really fit into, I got comfortable with my new size. And I was just like, okay, jeans were fun and cute, but I can get into some nice suits, some A-line stuff, button down blouses as opposed to only pullover tops, right? Thank you, Sam. Thank you. I'm putting up some glowers for you, Sam. Thank you. Right? Yeah, I don't think it's a good situation. I think we have to prefer the higher income guys. We just have to, because especially going back to the topic, right? Just going back to the topic. I'm going to center myself a little bit more there. But going back to the topic, we have to consider higher income guys, because Black women in particular, our ideas get taken, our time gets taken. We just get worked like mules, and then we have nothing left at the end of the day, And so to find a situation where, you can rest, you can still be, because people really always have that twisted with the whole, hey, Taylor. Oh, my girl made it. Yes. Okay. Now it's a party. Now it's a party. Taylor, Black Princess made it too. Great. My moderator's finally here. Cool. So, thank you guys so much. So we have a situation. Taylor and Black Princess, scroll up. Oh, I understand, because you're in school. Black Princess, I get it. And that's what I was telling the guests earlier. I was like, I'm going to give it a couple of minutes, because I know I have some West Coast people and they're getting stuff backwards. So I don't think that you're not his type. I don't think that's what he said, but I'm going to let him answer it. But ladies, Taylor and Black Princess, scroll up, look at this chat. We are in the middle of a very good conversation here. It is an interracial dater. But she has a very, very cool story that we're just kind of, talking up. And Sam I Am had some great advice too. Taylor, I've been telling you that, and I'm still waiting on your email. Absolutely. Because you always have such like really awesome things to contribute to the conversations, that every time when I go on to Black Introverts channel, I'm looking for you. And if you're not in there, girl, I don't stay. I'm gonna keep it all the way 100. I don't stay because I mean, I just think I vibed with you very early. You know, just you're just my type of chick. You're my type of chick, and that's why I was like, email me, like let's definitely stay engaged. Right. You're just not a good match for him because what he's looking for, let me tell you, I agree with that. What he's looking for is someone that's going to look up to the fact that he's a surgeon. I get this already, because let me tell you, do not let him fool you in thinking that, oh, no one cares about him being a single dad because he's a surgeon. He knows, just like that brings a female stock down, that brings a male stock down too. And especially because he wasn't married to the mom. That is very telling. Would you agree, Sam? Would you agree for an Asian woman to have a child out of wedlock? They don't do it. Something was wrong there. Something was very wrong. And so he might have been thinking that you was slow like her. But honey, I used to tell guys, ain't nothing slow but your money. Ain't nothing slow over here. Nothing is slow over here. Y'all have to know I'm a reformed woman. I'm a reformed woman because you know, and like I said, I just, in all honesty, being a married woman gave me a whole lot more flexibility. You know, I was married to a professor. I was able to really just be able to be like, you know what, I can go home and be cool. I'm not going to settle for a guy that can only take me to Applebee's. I didn't do the ABCDs. I didn't do Applebee's. I didn't do Bennigan's. I didn't do Chili's. I didn't do Denny's. And I didn't do Fridays. What? No, honey, you had to take me to some hibachi, some Maury's, some Benihana, okay? Our exclusive, I loved quaint little exclusive restaurants. Like, I was a major foodie, and that was my thing. But yes. Yeah, he might, Black Princess, that's good. I didn't think about that. He just might want to use your womb because, yeah, it just seems to me like, okay, if you're 30 looking 20, you're a young, vibrant thing. And do you go on Saucus Ray's channel? And I want to put her chat room up. You guys visit her channel. Her channel is literally changing my perspective on these YouTube streets because, as Taylor knows, I get jaded sometimes with these YouTube streets and I let it all out. But she's literally has changed like my perspective a bit. She hasn't met the 6-year-old. They've only been on 2 dates. She has only been on 2 dates with the surgeon. She hasn't met the 6-year-old. But Saucus Ray had a great live chat this morning. And she was talking about how men, once you become a mom, they're no longer interested in you. So some men will hurry that process up because they don't like chasing. Like, they say they like to chase, but you know, no man wants to do that so long, and especially not a narcissist. Yes. So back to my story with the narcissist that I dated in my adult life. He was she's amazing. And so she had a great chat this morning, and it was really good. It was really live. No, just be, don't be available. Don't be available. Don't be available. I would say no. You know, does he know where you live? Because y'all have to forgive me, but you know, I used to be like, hey, if you really want to show me, let me see something coming up to my doorstep, you know. And I don't mean like I wasn't into stalker types and crazy, don't get me wrong, but you know, I mean, send me something. Like let me know what's going on. But like I said, I was able to play that game for a while, because I was married, and I was able to be kind of mysterious and unavailable and distant when I wanted to be. But y'all, I've been single and celibate for 5 years, y'all. Count them. So ain't nothing showing up over here but Amazon, and during this season, they halfway showing up, y'all. If you really like him, go on Saucus Ray. Think about what would Saucus say? What would Saucus Ray say? The fact that you really like him is the issue. It's the issue. Because you're really liking him, you're going to make certain decisions that you wouldn't normally make. I mean, call me crazy, but that's usually the way it works. You usually are able to be flexible and bending for people that you really like. And guess what? You end up regretting it. Yes, Black Princess. Come on. That's my moderator, y'all. That's my moderator in the building, y'all. Hey, that's my royal sis. He's got to be, because I'm telling you, that is something that a lot of professional men, first of all, they aren't, and they don't think they have to be. You know, he is a doctor. Do you know how much a surgeon at that? Y'all, that's like a pilot. That's a pilot. You know what the nurses that he gets access to, the nurses' aides, he gets access to, the other doctors, the other female doctors. If you watch any of those medicine in wherever, you know, I think they just have a new one added on. But if you watch any of those medicine shows and you see doctors and doctors' wives, no, girl, you know that cheating is serious. And you know they're celebrities, and especially if you're a surgeon, because you're super smart, but you're also very super committed. You're super technical, and this is where that's to me where professional guys. This is how what becomes an issue. You lose out, like you lose that intensity, you lose that heat, because they are bookies. They are bookies, and that is it. Tanya made it, y'all. Y'all, we partying too much right now. We partying too much. They might have to shut us down, y'all. YouTube might come and call the law. You guys, if you are enjoying these videos, please continue to share. As you guys probably see, I am I'm 5 or 6 away from 300 subscribers. And y'all, that means in a week, I came up almost 100 subscribers. So thank you for all you are doing. Black Princess has been great with promoting the Glow Show on her channel. Thank you, Black Princess, and also drop the link to your channel. And just please continue to share. You guys, you never know, because a white woman actually reached out to me earlier today, and she said, "Is it okay if she joined?" And I'm like, "Yes, yes, okay." So she subscribed, and she's like, "Great, I'm gonna bring some of my friends over," because you guys, we do need these conversations to exist. But we need them also to coexist, because I think that scene in "Hey Girl," hey, oh, I didn't realize it, but now you're speaking. I know, and I'm hoping that you're feeling better from your dental appointment, sis. All right. Oh, I'm so glad that I didn't know, because I emailed you. And I was like, because you were like, "Oh, I thought you went live at 12. I'm like, we're here. We're live now. We're live now. Black Princess, you said it. You said it. But I know you guys, it's easier said than done. It really, really is. And and I love about, what was that, a week or two ago, and talking about what it takes to be a confident woman. And I had to be very honest. My confidence literally came from the fact that I knew that I had a situation already, stable situation at home. And so I was able to be just as elusive as I wanted to be. I was able to be very direct. I was able to be very demanding without worrying about the repercussions as much, because at the end of the day, I had a husband. So absolutely. 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 I love that. I love that. I agree, Taylor. I agree, Taylor. That's exactly what I'm saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. Those professional men, first of all, they don't feel like they have to. And then on the other side of that is that they are not, these are not very emotional people. They can't be. A could you imagine a surgeon being emotional? They're over you, they have to make very precise. People say the same thing about pilots. That's why people are always very surprised that, pilots have very, very aggressive, party lives, because they don't get that, because you have to be, you have to be so prepared, because usually pilot flying is very routine. It's not like surgery. And of course, there are some surgeries I remember, surgeons talking. There are some surgeries they feel like they could do literally with their eyes closed. But the fact that you have to be prepared you have to be prepared for anything that could happen in those skies, in a body. So I agree. And I think the more that he knows you like him, like I said, what would Saucus say? The more that he knows you like him, the more dangerous it is. It really is. I think the fact that he didn't realize that saying, I want to keep going back to this, y'all. If it was anything else, if he would say your makeup, the smudging, which is still kind of dirty, but to me, for him to say your dark makeup, it's like, what's the point? What's the point in even saying that? What's the point in even saying that? I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I'm not feeling it. I would say definitely play it cool. Play it cool. You know, let Sunday go, and see how you feel like in a week or two. You'd be surprised. You may meet a whole nother doctor who's really serious. Let me tell you, my cousin, and he married a white girl, but my cousin, 2 years out of his residency, he broke up with his fiance. He was engaged to this whole other chick, and he met this woman on a blind date, a setup, and he married her within a year. She was a white woman, and his fiance was, I think she was Indian and Jewish or something like that. But men will move very quickly for who they want to move quickly for. So there were just a couple of red flags there. The dark comment was definitely a big red flag, but the other is just the fact that an Asian girl had that baby. I want to almost say, he might have tricked this girl. He might have tricked this girl, because Asians just don't get down like that. Either he tricked this girl or this girl was real slow. And I have never seen that in the Asian population. Like, I don't see Asian so mamas running around. I just don't. mm. I don't know. I have to see, because I tell you, now that I am in my 40s, 50s don't feel that bad to me looking wise, but I will say this, that it does surprise me that they are not in these different, Taylor, you're right. I was about to say something disagreeing, but you're right. They're not really in these different categories. You would think that, the only thing is that they have a better knowledge to me of music, or better appreciation of music, older guys, but on the other side, they are still into playing the games. It's not that they're immature. They just have not matured. Like I always say on this channel, you guys know me, growing up is a blessing, but glowing up is a choice. Okay? Growing up is a blessing. It's a blessing if you get another year and you're growing up, that's expected. Okay? But glowing up is a choice. And not everybody wants to glow up. They do not want to live their life with intention or purpose. They want to stay the same them that they were at 20, 30 years old. And I've met them. I was engaged to a gentleman in his 40s years ago. And this dude wanted to he wanted to dress and look like he was in his 20s. He wanted to play the loud, raucous music. The only thing that he wanted to be above 21 for was the fact that he wanted to drink and get into strip clubs. But other than that, child, please. Miss Elite! Yeah, this room is booming. I was just telling them, I said, YouTube they're gonna shut us down because we got this party rocking today. We got this party rocking today, Miss. Hey. I'm telling you guys, this navigating is, people say also too, oh, you should be glad that you don't date because you don't have to deal with a lot of this rigmarole. And yeah, actually I am. But it's not the dating that's the issue, that I don't want to deal with rigmarole. It's literally the caliber of guys that just want to date. What else do you want to do? What else do you want to do besides go, get a drink, go to eat, go to movies, go to the bowling alley? What do you want? Do you want to level up? Please give it to me. I'm taking that right off the screen. Please give it to me. Y'all, everybody, please put up your glower. Please put up your glowers. Please put up your glowers. And you guys, make sure that you share these videos. You guys, you glowers, I think that it's really important that we start to get this out there, because leveling up is starting to get a little bit of a bad name. I think that most of us can agree with that. And also being unbothered is just, even having this whole idea of being unbothered is problematic. I think glowing up is an absolute definite way to say, hey, we're focusing on improving and increasing our quality of life, but we're filling it with purpose. We're filling it intentionally. We're doing it with compassion and with accepting challenges to do that, right? And it's not just about, glowing up with your clothes and with who you're dating. It's glowing up with your attitude. It's blowing up with your attitude. You're being able to wrap your head around and see perspectives that you didn't see before. I love this. You know what, Miss Elite? Miss Elite is a relationship guru. Miss Elite, scroll up. We've been talking for most of the chat about this situation regarding this surgeon. Okay. And let me know too, Miss Elite, if you've ever heard of this. Okay. This surgeon who was dating one of our glowers, and they've gone on 2 dates. He is a single father, and the mother is Asian. They weren't married. Baby out of wedlock. Miss Lee, have you ever heard of such? An Asian woman having children out of wedlock? I asked, this is what I asked. I asked, had she ever seen the boy? Because to me, it may sound like something's wrong with the boy. And if something's wrong with the boy, something wrong with the mom, something wrong with him, you can see it in the child. That's the way it works. That's the way genetics works, guys. Older people, elders always say, hey there. It happens. Who does it happen to? Who does it happen to? I tell you, I lived a lot of places. West Coast, North, South. I personally have never seen it. They're usually very, very particular, very careful, very conservative, very traditional. So definitely it's a first. And I would love to take this information back to the rooms that claim that if you get a woman from somewhere else, they all wholesome and Miss Lee know what I'm talking about. Oh, they're not married yet, Miss Elite. Oh no, they're not married yet. But you're talking about Jeezy, the rapper. Yes, and he does have a lot of kids, and he's disgusting. Miss Jenny can have him. Miss Jenny needs to sit on down somewhere. She married a kid with a lot of, she's marrying someone with kids, but she does not have a kid out of wedlock. See, that's the difference. This surgeon who is dating one of our glowers, he has a child from an Asian woman, and they were never married. I just don't see it. Yeah. I can see you there. I can see you there. Okay. I guess it doesn't happen prevalently enough for me to know it. But hey, you all, if you have not subbed, please subscribe, because YouTube has been doing something really wonky these past couple of days. They've been canceling subscriptions. I think because a lot of their workers are back, and when workers check spam accounts, like that's what they do. And so since they were away for a lot of the COVID and a lot of things were locked out, they weren't able to monitor certain things. So now that they're back, they're like being very overly aggressive. So we've been noticing, Black Prince and I have been talking about it. We've been noticing, I'm talking with a couple of other YouTubers as well. And they were like, one day they had, they were like 800. And then the next day they're up to, over 1,000, and they're like glad for it. But they know that's because some of them might've been held back. And then some people, the opposite, they've been at a certain number, and then the next day they're significantly dipped. So yeah, they do. They do. It's kind of wonky. It's kind of wonky. Right. Thank you, Miss Elite. I thought Miss Elite is a relationship guru. So I'm really glad she got the chance to join the chat. So thank you, Taylor. Yes, everybody in the chat room, please like and please subscribe. If you think you're subscribed, check again, because you might be unsubscribed and don't even know it. A couple of people didn't get the notifications, and I think that also was a reason, because if you had rung the bell previously and then I went live and you didn't know it, like literally I got a call and I got a text message and I got an email all within about 10 minutes of each other. People are like, oh, are you live? Are you live? Because, to me, I can't see that you're live. So, yeah. So please make sure. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I agree. And you know what, Super Nifty, it's hard. It's hard at first, especially because these professional guys are a catch. Don't get me wrong. I had an impromptu date with a gentleman that, owned his own business, and it was a legit business. Like the consulting company I worked for, she has a been verified account, and we went and checked his status, and I was like, oh my gosh, well, why can't I get another date? What's going on? Da, da, da. And she was just like, girl, you never know what's going on in these men's heads. Because like we literally went from supposed to having coffee, which we did that morning, to we spent the whole day together. He was like, hey, let's go to lunch. Hey, let's do this, let's do that. And I was like, oh, okay. And so I absolutely thought another date, a real date, like, going out to dinner, movie, whatever. I thought that was a given. Y'all, I never got that second date. And, I was like really kind of I was feeling him more as the day went on. Like when the day started, I was like, okay, he's, mid 40s, white guy, not really my usual thing, but it was Friday. I was free. It was flexible. I was like, okay, yeah, let's do this. But as the day went on, we're vibing. And when I tell you we had a good vibe. Like, the people in the restaurant were, because we went to a couple throughout the day, they were giving us that look. And y'all know that look I'm talking about. So they were like, oh. So I wanted a second date, obviously, naturally, tailored and naturally. But I never got it. And I was just like, what happened? And I liked him and I liked him and I liked him and I liked him and I liked him. And he's professional. But exactly. And it was, and I think just the fact that he said dark, because I just think that was, for him to be dark, for him to have dark family members and for him to be dark, he was being totally oblivious to the ramifications and the impact of that statement. So, I just say this. If it matters to you, you'll make it happen. If it doesn't matter, you make excuses. And I think that him apologizing was an excuse. And that's just, that's my personal opinion. But like I said, I'm not in the dating world. So I think a lot of time in the dating world, in the dating scene, people make compromises all the time. I'm not saying they're right. I'm not saying they're wrong. But that's another reason why I just don't like to date, because I just don't want to have to continue to do that until dating creates just a series expectation of settling, because I may be older than most of you guys here, but there used to be a show, Singled Out. It was really good. And basically there would be a group of people and someone would have a preference. And so everyone that didn't fit his preference, they get weeded out. And as they got weeded out, they would walk past the guy or the girl, right? So let's say if she says, hey, I want a guy that's at least 6 feet tall. So all of the guys underneath 6 feet tall will come walking past. And occasionally, it didn't happen often. It did not happen often, I will say this. But occasionally somebody will come walking past that did not fit the criteria. And that person could, the person choosing could pull them back in. And, it's just like, why do that? Why do that? Like, when you start the relationship off making adjustments and backing off of that, I think what happens is, to both of the people involved, right? To the person that wasn't fitting that criteria in the beginning, and to the person doing the choosing, they both start to question or doubt the interest of the other person. All right. So that's my sockets Ray point of the day. Mm-hmm. Yes, my people are often. So the situation that happened to me over the weekend was, what is it about people that offer their opinion and you don't ask for it? So someone literally saw me in another chat room commenting about some things, and they emailed me and they were like, oh, well, I just don't think you should be making those type of comments because, older men don't want, they don't want women your age. They want women in their 20s or whatever. And I was like, first of all, no one asked you. But secondly, they may want women in their 20s, but do those women in their 20s want men in their 40s and 50s? Usually not. I may be going on a limb there saying that. And then he went on to say, oh, this may hurt your feelings, but this is just a real, and your ex-husband might have been light-skinned, but you're not the type that light-skinned guys look for. And I was like, no one asked you any of this. Why are you weighing in? That's why thank you again, Super Nifty, for allowing us to sharing with us, because these conversations, they can get really they can go deep, and because you're thinking about them in different ways. And one thing I would just never want to do is offer my opinion to someone that does not that has not asked for it, is not warranted. It was totally rude, and it was unnecessary. And what's funny about him is that he found me and subscribed to me when I was a guest on another show. And he immediately, after the show wrapped, he immediately, emailed me and was just like, oh, hey, pretty lady. And always commenting things like that. But the problem with him was that he would get offended when I would say things like, my husband's going to find me. My husband's going to choose me. And he'd be like, oh, your husband might have already found you. No, my husband already found me. We would be working on some arrangements for when the nuptials were taking place. So it was kind of like he was implying that it was him. I don't know. But, then he goes off on these weird tangents about, how I need to be realistic and honest with myself and how this is that. And I'm just like, why do you care? Why do you care? Why are you offering me your conversation? Oh, thank you so much. Thank you so much. I agree. I agree. And, quite honestly, I don't see, what I mostly see when I see lighter guys is them with darker women. I don't see it the other way around often. I don't see a lot of light-skinned guys with light-skinned women. Now, I see a lot of dark-skinned guys with light-skinned women, but I don't see a lot of light-skinned guys with. Absolutely. And I just think that why does this always become an issue when it is talking about the appeal of darker skinned women? I just, the type of hate that really comes on to, you guys would be very surprised. The type of hate that comes on to my channel, it is not like they're not saying dark skin, but they're just always talking about, this is realistic or this not realistic. And I'm just like, says who? Says who is not realistic? Says who? But that's the point. That's the point. They feel like they're entitled to share what my absolutely right. They feel like they're entitled to share in what your dating options should be, what they're limited to. That's something very odd to me. Because, and I've seen plenty of situations where I was just like, you know what, that type of chick would not be into you. And I'm on some of these pages, but I don't tell that to the guy, like they'll figure that out, and, it might take them 10, 20 years, but they'll figure that out, that, hey, that type of girl is basically able to play me because I'm so into her. Oh, wow. And that's funny that you say that, Taylor. And one time for dads of Queens, amen. My father, Richard, is definitely very also much poured into me. My mother was very light skinned. My mother's very light skinned, but I tell you what, my mom always did. My mom always did. They don't, but they act like they do. Black princess, yes. They don't, but they really do. And that's what I told him. I said, why do you think that your opinion matters more than my husband's? Why? And why would it matter to me more than what my husband did? That's only God and my husband's opinion will only matter to me. Your opinion of me does not matter. Hello. But my mom never, when I tell you she didn't play the radio, she never let me forget not a day. She never let me forget not a day that light skin did not make her better than any of us. Because, all of her children, of course, were all darker than her. And she would say, that doesn't make me better. Doesn't make me better. Like she didn't play that light skin influence stuff. That light skin, what do they call it? Not entitlement. She did not play that. She did not play the light skin entitlement stuff. She would tell me all the time, don't just like that. Why you think she's pretty? Because she's light? And I always think that was so weird because my mom was super light. And I would be like, my mom was like Obama's complexion. And I'd be like, why would she be saying this? Because, she's like light. And I'm like, Mom, don't you get it? But she just would not let me play into that because she knew that eventually if she played into that, if she allowed me to play into that, it would become self-defeating because I wasn't, light. And so she wanted to make sure that I wasn't just looking at, who these light brights were. But I will say this, which is very funny. So the darkest gentleman I ever dated, I told you about him, Miss Elite. Yeah, no, she was definitely very, she was a light bright. She was light bright. I used to ask her, was she Mexican? Did she have another Mexican family? I would ask my mom all the time, you got a white man, you got a Mexican family, or, you got some other people sitting around. As you should, Taylor. And I love that, Taylor, you're saying that at the age that you are, right? Because too many of our young women, they are encouraged. Taylor, you've got to check out Saucus Ray's channel. But too many of our young women, they are encouraged by friends and by, peers, not necessarily friends, to use their 20s being wild and exploring. That's why I don't like, people always say to me, well, Courtney, I can see how things went off the rail because, y'all did get married young because I was married at 19. And I tell them all the time, no, don't say that it was because I was 19. We went off the rails because I was disobedient to the order. Okay? That's why we went off the rails. And that can happen. That could happen at 19. That could have happened at 29. That could happen at 39. But I'm glad that it happened when it did, because now at 40, I'm now able to see differently. Imagine if it would have happened later and I still wouldn't have I wouldn't have this quality understanding or appreciation of a marriage. So I'm glad that happened when I was younger, but it did not happen because I was so too young. I knew plenty of couples. When I say plenty, I can name probably about 10 that got married either younger than us or around the same age, and they're still married. It's very risky, and at the same time, it's unfulfilling. It's stupid. I remember there was a girl, and she was in a sorority. I'm not going to say which one. But she was in a sorority, and she had transferred from another school. And I would always, y'all, if y'all know me, when I was dating my ex-husband, he went to another college. And so I was always going to the mailbox. So I was always getting people to go on mailbox runs with me. And we were walking to the mailbox one day, and she was just like, I was just like, yeah, we're getting married, da, da, da. And she was like, wait, he'll be your first. And she was like, you need to be with someone else before y'all get married. You know, as a matter of fact, we were like five, six people. And I was like, why would I do that? And she's just like, oh, because you got to get it out your system. She was like, trust me, I have a great boyfriend that I love, and her boyfriend was Omega as well. I gave it away. Was in a fraternity as well. But she was like, oh yeah, I've been with, and I'm not kidding y'all, guys, remember I was married at 19. I met her, she was a little older than me because she had transferred over. I think she was like 20, 21. She said, I've been with about 140 guys. Let that sink in. And she was like 20. She was like 20. She's like, I've done it all. So, you know, when we're ready to get married, I won't have that in my system. And I was like, but you're going to have something else in your system. You won't have something else in your system, sis. But that's the real. And that's another way too, how we burn ourselves out and we reduce our glow, because we start listening to what other people think we should be concerned about. You guys, you know, one of the first things, my ex-husband used to be a test proctor. One of the first things, 140 guys at 20. And she said she had done everything. So that meant, you know, you can imagine. But at 20. And looking back on that, I think that she had to, I think that there had to have been some level of some abuses there, because this is what I've heard. I've heard all the time that when that happens young, to get back control of themselves, that's what they do. But what was I saying? Oh, but it's my ex-husband was a test proctor, and he said that the first thing that they're taught to teach is that to go with your what? Gut. Go with your first thought. Stop letting what people say you should be doing. You should be da-da-da-da. You should be da-da-da. And that even goes for you, Super Nifty. I don't know if you're still in the chat, but if you are still in the chat, or if you're listening to this playback, if you're running it back on the playback, you know, absolutely, we could all be wrong. Go after him if you think. I mean, my mind tells me no, but if you were that into him, if you were very interested, and if he's a professional guy, I just think that you're accepting, you're buying into the lie that he gave you, which is saying that, you know, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Saying things like that, honey. Any guy that makes you think that you are not the prize in a relationship has some insecurities, or they have some extreme narcissism. So leave them be, and, you know, you just keep it moving. I know me. I have made adjustments too much in my last two relationships. The first guy that I was with after I divorced, he was short, and I usually don't like short guys, and he was short, and I made, you know, excuses, and I'm like, oh, but he's really fit, he's really sexy, he's really this, he's really that, but he's really short. And this guy turned out to be a total Napoleon complex narcissist. Okay. Had to get a restraining order and everything. So that was that. Exactly. And so, and the last guy that I was with before I became single and celibate was, he was a big guy. You know, he was undoubtedly the most, you know, overweight guy I've ever dated. And he was, you know, wasn't professional. He did not have a profession, you know, he was kind of a floater. And I really made excuses for thinking that I could help him. I was building a bomb. You know, I was trying to do his resume and get him out there and shop to do different things. But at the end of the day, they don't really value that. I do agree. There's a channel that Chloe does, a hypergamy channel. I do agree with that sentiment. She said that once. And I do agree with that, you know, they don't really appreciate that, because that's not really what they want. They don't want someone that takes away their masculinity, when they're like, oh, this is what I'm doing. This is a favor I'm getting. They don't. So, but you think that they would. You think that you would. We need to get a spotlight glower, because that was a great comment, Taylor. But it's true. They don't. They don't. You think that they would, but they don't. Like, and especially when I was getting promotions and all, I thought it was jealousy, but it wasn't really jealousy. It was just like, dude didn't he didn't care, because he thought because he was the man in the relationship, because he had no children, and to him he had no baggage, even though he's 300 pounds of baggage. He had no baggage. He really thought he was the prize. And I decided from that day on I would never date another man again that or allow myself to be courted by another man that did not see me as the prize. Period. That's period. That's on everything. So we are at 1:21 here. We're gonna wrap it up soon, y'all. I'm making the kids pizza tonight. Y'all know. Yeah. But I really I want to thank Super Nifty, because that wasn't expected. And it was a great conversation starter. I love how we were all not just contributing, but really empowering that conversation. Honey, you're the prize. You're 30 looking like you're 20, no kids, no baggage. Please. Like I said, there were a couple of red flags for me, but, go with your gut feeling. If your gut feeling is telling you do not go Sunday, don't go Sunday. I'm telling you, no matter what, there will be some level of regretting there if you do. And we have got to start to trust our guts again. We've got to start trusting our guts again. You guys, one of the main tools too that I have been using to level up in this season is I don't get involved if I cannot contribute realistically. Like, period. If it is already an organization and they got 3-4 other people already doing what I'm doing, I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to get involved with these, and I call them these faux movements, FAUX. Are they needed? Absolutely. But are they productive? Absolutely not. So if I'm not willing to go down with you with no rally, I'm not going to talk no rally up. If I'm honestly, and I ask everyone to be just honest, because everybody's talking about having a boycott or doing like these things. I'm about doing a boycott, so I would join in there, but I'm not going to offer my services or my time up for something that I'm not interested in being a part of or contributing to. These group economics, everybody's talking about putting $5-10 and buying a plot of land. If I don't know who the rest of those 400 people are that's going into that land, I'm not contributing, because these may not be people that I want to live with or live around. And I don't trust that enough yet, because I haven't seen it yet. And this was an idea that I actually thought of years ago as well. That, we could have these communities, like a community of teachers, a community of doctors, a community of lawyers, what have you. But mixed income, mixed neighborhoods work very well. I've seen them work in Philadelphia the best. I've seen them work best up north. In Atlanta, those aren't really as much as mixed neighborhoods, but they're very consistent with having a real middle class still in Atlanta. In Arizona, it was like, everybody was either a student or everybody was corporate. It was just really two different dynamics. But yeah, I just think that we need to really get real what contributions are going to be and what we're going to do to assist, if that is your thing. The reason why I said I think we need to cancel just woke culture, because I think we get confused with being aware with having that be those are our capes. We take that on our back. We end up picking up slack for other people and other things that absolutely don't matter to us as a collective. And then also too, it's nothing worse than being a part of an organization that the only thing they do is meet to meet. They aren't doing anything, any type of outreach. They're not doing any type of impactful, having an impactful effect on the community. So I think it's just time that we get real with that. Black Princess, make sure you put up your link to your channel again. We have been definitely having some great conversations over there as well. I miss Lord Tyvek today. Usually he's here, but I missed him today. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And also, let me put in my email address. Taylor, please give me an email. I would definitely love to chat with you a little bit more off the board. I think you have, just a really, really cool mind. And I just want to build, I just want to build. So I'm on a deadline for something I was supposed to literally have to Saucus Ray. So that's why too, I'm like, yeah, we, this was a great conversation for us to have today in light of this, because I do think, who you are representing and who represents you definitely does weigh heavy on our quality of life. Is someone helping you? Is someone treating you like the prize, or are they tolerating you? I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. And that does drain your energy. It drains your energy because you'll be forever trying to figure out what can you do to kind of reignite that same passion. So this is important. So definitely want to connect and continue to, you guys, please, if you think you're subscribed, it will not hurt to just ring that bell just to make sure, because it does happen more often than you would think with being unsubscribed. And make sure that we're in here on these Glow Live at 5 every Wednesday, y'all. And then, when we add our cooking segment, that's going to be a lot of fun. So all of my fasters, if you are committed to the fast, we're meeting back here Friday at 3:00. We are going to be talking about my fast and review, what I'm doing differently this time than what I did last time. And y'all, I just took some new progress shots. They were really good. So I did do a run today. I'm doing a HIIT workout this evening. Y'all, if you are on this fast journey, glow up fast journey, please make sure you email me. Make sure you weigh in to the conversation on Friday, figuratively and literally. Make sure you weigh in. You all know that this is a group, this is a space where you can be comforted, where you can be empowered, where you can be encouraged. We are giving and sharing great information, nothing that is going to tear us down or limit us or impede. We are all about helping one another doing the glow up. Okay. So this is definitely a safe space for it. I love and appreciate you all. And y'all know what to do until next time. Glow.